is Sister Wendy. And if I didn't have a cold, you could tell my English accent. So you will have to imagine that. But I am a very famous art critic. In fact, if you, since this is a pro bono evening, would like to buy my DVD, please feel free. And for those of you who see me on BBC and on PBS, but tonight we have a very special evening. And we want to pass out the programs to you all. You need to share them, I'm afraid. You and you get your own, and would you? Thank you so much. Now, we have a very special evening. And the first thing I want to do is to give to Peter and to Len $5 million each. Right. Because they are going, perhaps at the end of the evening, to buy one of the paintings that we have for sale tonight. So, let me tell you why we have an art show. Because we have a distinguished docent and his esteemed companion in birthdays. And so I'm here to lead you through the show. Please feel free to ask questions at the very end. Everybody ready? Okay. Now I will ask you two to cover your heads until the actors are on stage. And then, as soon as I say so, feel free to take them off. My distinguished companion, Maestro Stein, will be playing appropriate music as we go. Maestro. Previously attributed to Verrocchio or Lorenzo di Credi, there are still many who believe that it's Leonardo's, albeit a youthful attempt. Note the rather strange and animated baby, although this lady isn't so strange, and his awkward pose as he attempts to walk over his mother's lap. Does Mary look distracted, or perhaps a trifle annoyed by the squirmy child who is reaching out? They are not in harmony with one another, which has led to the controversy about the attribution of this painting. But you may decide for yourself. Julia, music. Christ, solitary and desolate on the cross. But we should note it's popular because they could be made cheaply and quickly. If you add Mary and Mary Magdalene and the Roman soldiers, etc., not only do you dilute the power of this narrative, but it costs more money, paint, and in time. These paintings and its fellows were life-size, as you can see, with his terrible wound from the Roman sword. At any rate, did the gaze down mean despair? We will never know. the backdrop and the starkness of this picture and to its universal implications.
Beautiful.
Until I get the head covered.
Pull the curtain down.
Thank you, Maestro. Yesterday I spent the whole day in the studio with a strange painter called Degas, said Edmond de Goncourt in his diary. Of all subjects in modern life, he has chosen washerwomen and ballet dancers in a world of pink and white, and a most delightful pretext for soft colors. Degas said, people call me the painter of dancing girls, but it never occurs to them my interest is in movement and pretty clothes. He wanted the Palais Garnier, home of the Palace Ballet, where the poorest girls in Paris struggle to become fairies, nymphs, and queens. Note the expert rendering of the costumes, the liveliness of their expression, and the sweetness of their movements. No wonder we can never get enough of those girls. Head coverings, please. Be thinking, this is not the picture I remember. Well, Cezanne painted 5 versions of the card players, so you maybe remember another one. Some of the additional ones have figures, I think you Americans call them kibitzers in the background, but this one is done with only 2 figures. Well, he takes his cues from early Dutch and French genre paintings. There's no rowdy drunkenness here. There are not even glasses or money on the table. They look down at their cards, nod at each other. What's up? This is right. No one did. It suggests, look at their concentration on their cards. This one, that concentration is supposed to suggest Cezanne's concentration on his own art. This version, most favored by the critics for the sparseness and clarity of his execution, so much so it was featured on a stamp in France. It was stolen and ransomed back. Thank you, card player.
Next. We'll see the Vanya stage next step.
recognizable as the American flag, the eagle, or the Statue of Liberty. He painted this, spotted the house, which we unfortunately don't have tonight, and made a sketch so we could enter it into an art show. He recruited his sister and a local dentist. They had never met, and they never posed together. He sent to Chicago for clothes, and he said, no, a rake isn't dramatic, but a pitchfork it is. He only got third place and $300 for this picture. Gothic can be taken ironically because, well, the picture in that which we can't see, is sort of Gothic. This is hardly grand, sweeping, and wonderful. It was, from the beginning, considered to be a satire. One Iowan said about this picture, if I ever meet Mr. Grant Wood, I would bite his ear off, because they thought they were being made fun of. And Easterners said, yeah, they look like narrow, sour Middle Westerners, of course. However, as the Depression deepened, they became the iconic American couple. So much so that during World War II, they made a stamp, and you could find him on the back of cereal boxes, episodes of the Dick Van Dyke Show, and of course many parodies, including one where someone is in fact putting a pitchfork through the head of one of them. At any rate, this is the most American picture we know. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, put on where okay. Next. Klimt claimed, and that was certainly true of his work. As he translated allegory into overtly sexual symbolism, he was severely criticized and kept out of exhibitions. His influences were Egyptian, Minoan, classical Greek, but sensuality, sexuality, that is what attracted him. Look at this picture. We are in the presence of a desirable, beautiful woman. But what can we see? The erotic suggestiveness of the feathers in her hat, and the boa obscured most of her face, except for the flat eyes and the feverish flush of her cheeks. Is it consumption? Sexual heat? We don't know. But she intrigues us, and we want to know more. A lover of women, Klimt had 14 children with many women, he is enigmatic and does not tell us anything. In fact, the decorative features attract us and lure us to look and look and look. Thank you, Matt. Covers on your head, please. We had a printer's error, so it is not us. Our character is, go ahead, Julian. Honorine, this lady. Toulouse-Lautrec had a lot of affection for this model because he used her 3 other times, although we know very little about her. Her gaze seems to ignore the painter. Her clothes and her presence emphasized her dignity. He was not so much interested in the play of light and shadow as he was in establishing her distinctiveness. We are far more familiar with his dancers, pretty girls, and prostitutes, but the emphasis here is on respect for this young woman, knowing that his deformities and dissolute habits would keep him from the society of ladies like her. Will we ever know more about her? Sadly, no. Covers on your head. sorry. Covers.
Cover their head?
Yeah. Covers. Okay, Juliet. Another iconic and often parodied picture. This is an example of the accidental nature of most art. When his model didn't show up, Whistler said to his mother, "Would you fill in?" And she said, "Yeah, but I don't like standing up. You'll have to let me sit down." He was not interested in a sentimental picture of his mother. He was interested in arranging in gray and black. But Victorians wanted feeling and sentiment. So this became the picture of his mother. And it became so much a symbol of motherhood that the U.S. Post Office issued a stamp that said, "In memory and in honor of America's mothers." In the popular culture, Whistler's mother has appeared in an incident in Arrested Development, in a modernized version for An Ad for Oil of Olay, in Naked Gun 2, where a character has a birthmark in the shape of Whistler on its behind, and in the original version of You're the Top, which some of you may remember was a song we sang 10 years ago at the 65th birthday of Mr. Target.
We almost sang it.
We almost sang it. At any rate, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our all of you come out for a bow, please. I should also mention that the originators of Tableau Vivant were Marie Antoinette and Louis XIV, and not since their beheading have we had an evening like that.
And who is chosen to be beheaded tonight?
The name of the church.
Baby Jesus is over.
Ladies and gentlemen, since you are the man with the welding and the hammer and all that stuff, to do this without you as our principal.
It was quite a challenge. Like Josh was
Would you repeat it? I didn't get the last.
Since all of our rebels, usually you make all the materials, this is one we had to do without you.
Well, you've done a wonderful job.
Rob Spiker and Zuli made costumes up in Washington for you and sent them down.
Well, brownie, brownie.